Happy Friday, boys and girls. My name is Jeffery Scott Mitchell, coming to you live on Memorex from the ultimate remote location, the city in which I was, well, I can't say born because I was born in Newcastle, the city in which I was raised, the city and the place where I learned what is, people, the places, the buildings, the culture, the ultimate remote location. Happy Friday. I really can't say, thank God it's Friday, because there's a 3-year-older involved in the mix. And because there's a 3-year-older involved in the mix, there is no Fridays. Fridays don't exist. Yeah, sure, you get off work, but it don't matter. Because there's a 3-year-older involved. You know what the biggest thing about a 3-year-older that I recommend one should remember? The biggest thing about 3-year-olders that one should remember is simply is that they are 3 years old. For me, it's very easy to forget that. When that 3-year-old start turning up, and sometimes terrorizing us, adults and parents and grandparents and things around her. And let me distinguish between the moments when the 3-year-older is terrorizing and when the 3-year-older is just in full-blown play. Full-blown, energetic, aggressive, loud play. Now, I was thinking also this morning, I shouldn't put all 3-year-olders in the box. All 3-year-olds are not monolithic, I'm sure. And also I was thinking, this particular 3-year-old that I'm referring to also is more than likely a product of what we created. I'm thinking very more than likely this 3-year-older is a product of what we created. And for the most part, I'm very proud and somewhat impressed by this 3-year-older. It's just that I've lived alone for maybe 30 years now. I don't know, 30 years, I don't know. 40 years, no, not 40, 30 years. 30 years will take it back to 95. Yeah, probably about, did you see that? It just stopped. Why did it just stop? What was that about? Don't start stuff. Don't start nothing, it won't be nothing, camera. It just stopped. Good thing I looked up, it saw it, or I'd have been talking for, anyway. It's probably been about 30 years, 25 years where I lived alone. There's been brief stints of cohabitation with a idea that it could be long-term, this or that, but it didn't work for whatever reason. So I'm used to quiet. When I'm working, No TV, no music. When I'm in the house, usually no TV, no music. If I'm like walking around doing something, this or that, the TV be on, but it be on mute. You know, just to have that visual movement in the room or whatever sometimes. When I'm walking, I don't listen to music or podcasts or anything. So to have a 3-year-old around who is constantly bumping stuff, dropping stuff, screaming, talking, moving this, grabbing that, constantly most jumping up and down, moving, walking, even walking is loud. To get used to that for hours and hours a day. And then of course there's tantrums. There's whining. Not so much. I give it to the 3-year-old. The whining and the crying isn't so much anymore. Now it's just the actual real life. Just constantly playing and bumping and noise and stomping and screaming. Screaming is, just playing and just energetic and talking. Oh my God. And it don't stop. Took her last night and she was just going. I gotta settle down. I was like, look, I had to put on my adult big boy voice and settle her down. Partially hurt her feelings, because I could tell by the way she stopped and turned away from me. But I didn't care. I knew she'd bounce back and in 5 minutes and be right back at it if I didn't stay on it. And then she even repeated to me, don't make so much noise. I was like, yeah, I said, we old. And it might be that time for us to start teaching her the difference between in-house, inside the house, and outside the house, and being around adults. Because there were certain things we just didn't do in the house, especially my father there. You didn't run and you didn't scream. Needless to say, granddaughter does a lot of that all the time. And as I said before, her outgoing personality, her inquisitiveness, her aggressiveness towards objects and things and reaching out and almost like a fearlessness. We probably not only sanctioned, we probably are proud of. But there's a other edge to that sword. There's a other edge. And then you're sitting there, she just wearing you out, not really doing nothing but being a 3-year-old. Ain't doing nothing but being a 3-year-old. Toys here, things getting just bumping, dropping. If you sit next to him, she gonna kick you, just rolling over or whatever, just moving. You are a part of the furniture and landscape. So she'll like crawl right over you or just whatever, It's all hers or it doesn't matter. And she'll turn around and do something that I don't want to say give you hope, but make you smile and kind of go, oh, okay. Okay, like last night, when her father come to get her, she had to put her shoes and socks on. But before then, somebody else come in, she turned it up. Somebody else come in the house or whatever, she turned up. And she, screaming and, screaming might not be the word, but just loud, And it is a form of screaming, definitely. But just loud and energetic. And, almost like doing normal stuff. But it's like it's like 11:30, 11 p.m. And she been doing it all day. And so you get to a point where you be like, oh my God. And then so she was putting on her shoes. And earlier, I had showed her, she was putting her shoes on, just, ramming her foot in the shoe. And this had happened before, that where the tongue would be, pushed in under her. So I showed her, I said, okay, slow down. I was patient, that's something I gotta learn, be patient. Talk to the, even tone. She'll look, and I showed her how to do the tongue. So you gotta reach your hand in here and pull the tongue out and pull that up there. And so when she was putting on her shoes, she said, yeah, I gotta pull the tongue out. And it just melts your heart. It don't melt your heart, it don't melt my heart. But it kind of melts, it touches you, that you see that this promise, that this thing is learning, this thing is capable, this thing is growing, and your efforts are being not appreciated, but absorbed and put into practice. And she said, look, and she stopped, because she was putting her foot in and it wouldn't go in, and she remembered. She stuck her head in there, pulled the tongue out, pulled it all the way out like I, overly exaggerated it. When I showed her, she pulled it out, make sure, and then put her foot in. I was like, oh, you know what, you a demon. You are a demon. They say Satan is the prettiest angel. I ain't say that, the Bible said it, so don't get on me about it. 8 market. So, I really can't say thank God it's Friday. Now, I might be able to say thank God it's Saturday night. Because that's when we get a break. Because it takes a village. It takes a village. And last night, she was on her mother. She was on one. Especially if people around. Okay. Now, and I'm people. If she got an audience, she gonna turn up. And I'm new. She know me and everything. But if I'm there, that means, somebody else perform, entertain, whatever you want to call it. She turns up. So, even she woke up in the middle of the night, the other night, came downstairs. It wasn't, I can see on her face, she wasn't disturbed by it. Almost like she was not ready to play. But if I'd have interjected any kind of energy, it'd have been on. So you gotta watch that. So, and then last night after she left and the house was quiet, oh my God. And also her mother, my daughter, my daughter's still my daughter, so she still can go into daughter mode every now and then. And I gotta not accommodate her, but deal with that. And then you gotta deal with both of them. And then you gotta deal with how they interact. Because granddaughter don't have no mercy on my daughter. Absolutely none. Last night, my daughter left and slammed the door because granddaughter was like, Mommy, 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 just constantly. And just, nothing bad, just, just normal. Like, Mommy, Mommy, look, Mommy, Mommy, Mommy. She just shut the door and left. I was like, go ahead. I was like, leave your mother alone. I said, leave her alone. Let her do what she's doing. Give us a minute. You know, because my daughter, I ain't gonna act like she scared her, granddaughter, but you know how you kind of, I guess, between not wanting to hurt their feelings, think that you gonna hurt them, feeling guilty, but she disciplined. I mean, it gets to a point every now and then where the lid blow off of the teapot, and I'll be like, good, let her know. Let granddaughter know you can go there and you can be pushed there. Shoot, it ain't gonna hurt my feelings. But I do take, I will say I do take everything granddaughter do personally. I will say that. I do take everything granddaughter do personally. And I hold her responsible. Even though I know she's only a 3-year-old and may not know exactly what's going on 100%, but she's smart enough to know. Because I look at it and sometimes I can see it on her face. And she's starting to get to the point where she'll start like trying to make funny faces or distractions. And I told her a long time ago, that cute face don't work on me. I said, that cute face don't work on me. And I also told her, what's wrong with them people is they love you too much. Super grandma and your mother and them, they love you too much. Now you can deduct whatever you want from that statement. Because my job, I feel, is not to love you, but is to help develop you into a capable, self-sustaining, independent, I want to say the word again, independent person. It ain't to comfort you or help your feelings or make life easy for you. It's to present to you so you'll be ready for what I believe are the challenges in life. And that's all I can do. And what I meant was all I could do is what I meant for what I believe. You know, there are different things. There's different ways of you being taught. Your grandmother gonna teach you about Jesus in the Bible. You know, I particularly don't believe in that. I think it's kind of lunacy and ludicrous. But, you know, I understand how people use that or have that kind of faith in their life for whatever reason. And I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about any, that whole religion thing anymore. Whether they believe or not kind of doesn't matter. Because there's too much information out there. There's just too much information out there. And they're walking around with all the information, all the more data in their hands every day than any human being has ever had. And they'll be able to Google stuff and ask questions and come to their own conclusion. So it's kind of very hard to, I guess, indoctrinate somebody, indoctrinate kids into religion, whatever, because they're gonna figure it out. They're gonna come to their own conclusion, one way or the other. One way or the other. So that don't even faze me. I don't even say anything against it. I just, you know, let it go. So that's the gist of Happy Friday. Actually, it's gonna be probably a thank God it's Saturday night. And then I have to admit, the drop in energy when she leaves, it's probably like Stockholm Syndrome, where you just get used to your captors. It's probably like Stockholm Syndrome, when you get used to your captors. And you, but that's what it's all about. That 3-year-old. And I mean, you know, say what you want, say what you will. I've been back here for a couple weeks or more, for every 2 months, since she was born. Because I got to get in between them people and her. I got to let her know that, you know, I'm somebody you know, somebody you can trust. I'm here to protect you. But you need to stop all that craziness. But you need to tone it down. You need to, you know what I mean. You need to is, you know, she don't need to do nothing. But, you know, it's just my part of saying, look, you know, you're around other people. I'm turning the brightness down, so. You're around other people. You gotta understand that I tell her we're not used to all that noise. And she know, I said, when you come in here, you gotta say it with a firm voice, almost like you know, let her know you ain't playing. And I also do deeply believe, and I heard before, that, heard before, that children crave that discipline. They may or may not want to have to make that decision. They, you know, just put them in a box and they'll figure out a way to have fun. You know, define the boundaries of which they can operate and let them figure out what they need to do, whatever they do. I heard they crave the discipline. Because there's a couple of times where I've seen granddaughter do it with my daughter, and it was obvious granddaughter wanted my daughter just to make the call and make it firm and make her do something, you know, make her sit down, make her go to sleep. Because you know, they don't never want to go to sleep. Jesus Christ. They don't never want to go to sleep. My niece though, I remember one time my niece, and I'll never forget this, because it was something special. We were sitting there watching TV or something, and it got late. My niece said, I'm going to bed. She got up, packed her stuff up, went in her room. I ain't even go check on her nothing. Till the next morning, I guess she came out, her mother got her something. I was babysitting. That was the only time I ever seen that. But, and I will also say this too, this I gotta say, this I think is the biggest deal. Even over pacifier or even over potty training, granddaughter sleeps in her own room and consistently. And we'll go in there, you know, we got a camera so we can watch her and stuff. So that's kind of cool. But, you know, she'll go in there, lay in the bed, play with her tablet, play violently. We see her in there watching, she playing violently. But then she'll lay there and eventually go to sleep. You know, sleep pretty much the whole night. My daughter said one time, you hear her get up out of bed, go to the bed, hear the door open, or whatever, hear her go to the bathroom, hear her flush the toilet, hear her shut the door, hear her get back in bed, you know? That's the stuff I'm talking about. That's the stuff that impresses me. That right there.
Please drive forward.
Here's the renewed car wash. People going into it too. I guess it's Friday. People getting their car washed. I should have stopped and looked and see how I did it. Because it's a touchless. It's a touchless car wash. So it's probably like high pressure spray. Which, you know, if your car ain't dirty, it's pretty much all you need. So that's that. That's where I'm at. And like I said, I've been back here every 2 goddamn months for 3 years now, going on 4. So either I'm part of the problem or I like it or something. You know, I set up my cameras, and she know about cameras and the video. She said, I want video. I can put it on the TV. Even bought a 25-foot HDMI cable so I could run it from the laptop to the TV across the room. She could see herself, and you know, she's used to the cameras and this or that, jumping on the bed and whatnot. You know I love my cameras. Stop it, you know I love my cameras. I think one of them ain't working. One of them won't go into NDI mode. And I'm dealing with a tech support person. I don't know if it might be a language thing or something, but he asked me some questions that, you know, I just got to answer. You don't know his motive, his moodle. You know, I got to give him the nod that he knows more than I do. So I'm just gonna respond to everything he say until he say, well, we can't help you. Because he asking me stuff that I don't think is relevant, but you never know. So I'm gonna play along. I sent him a video. Like he asked me, and he asked me some other question. You know, some people seem like they just ask some tech. You seem like they asking you questions that you think they should already have the answer to. I'll probably do the same thing. Not that I'm like delaying it or anything, but you know. And then tonight, or today, she get off school bus will drop her off, and then my daughter go to work at 9, and her grandmother comes picks her up for a few hours and drops her back off, and then oh no, her mother goes to work at 4 to midnight, and be back home about, you know, midnight, 12:30. And I got one-on-one duty, and I'll be working. So sometimes that can get hectic. Sometimes that can get hectic too. Where I'm dealing with somebody on the phone, and she doing her thing. So, and then her mother gets home, but then her mother don't get home 12:30. Her mother don't go to work. Her mother is off. Well, don't go to work till like 9:30 tomorrow night. And there's some things we're supposed to do. So even if I got an off day, they there. You know, it's not really an off day if the 3-year-old is there. But Sunday, she'll be gone. Sunday, Monday, she'll be gone. A 3-year-old I'm talking about. And my daughter works, so I get some quiet time. Pittsburgh don't play Sunday. We got a bye week. So I really can't complain. And this little bit of attrition, if that's the word, it's probably good for me. You know, I'm out here walking, you know, doing what I do. Get my exercise in. My weight is at 195.2 this morning. I had cookies in bed last night. It probably could have been better today, but it's still going down. It may be like from 198, 196, 194, 192. It might be going down in like really small increments, but it ought to be happy it's going down, considering the damage I've done back here in the past. And it still be, you know, a goodly amount under 200. And I really can't complain. I bought my ticket to go back home. Got all that worked out. Got to fly through someplace, 2-hour layover. There's all the non-stops. And there's a non-stop on Sunday. It seems like Breeze Airways has got the non-stops in Pittsburgh, Cleveland, LA. But then they said they're seasonal. They actually, you go to book them and it says seasonal. I'm like, what the hell? And they're not there. And they had one Sunday for maybe, you know, 180 or whatever. But this one, but I wanted to get on Saturday morning. I'm gonna get on Saturday morning, and I'm fantasizing and salivating over hitting LAX at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm already saying, okay, if I hit land 10:30, I could be in my house unpacked by 1 p.m. I do love this. I don't know if I love my solitude or my alone time. I don't know what it is. I don't know what part it is. But I do love being in my sanctuary. I do love being alone with my thoughts and do whatever I want to do. But it's something that keeps me coming back here every 2 months for 2 weeks. And then it got to the point, last time I stayed like 3 weeks. I think I stayed 3.5 weeks. I ain't never been away from home that long. My God. I ain't never, and when I come, I don't even get a return ticket till I get here. I just got my return ticket yesterday. Flew to Baltimore, did the Funketeers Ball. We come here, you know. And as I said, I came here at the Funketeers Ball in the morning, saw granddaughter for like an hour or so, and she was gone. Got some rest, you know, was able to get some rest to get ready for work the next day. That shit is important, having that time. But, like I said, here we are. In the ultimate remote location. How am I supposed to hold this? What's the best way? Like this? The ultimate remote location. You know, me and granddaughter go on a walk. As long as you keep her occupied. See, that's what it is. As long as you keep her occupied. And my ex-wife, her grandmother said it best. You just got to give her all your attention. That is something I've never been good at. Giving all my attention to anybody or anything. Well, unless it was something I wanted to do. Something that was a project that I was working on. Something for me. And I don't want to say I recommend that for everybody. As I understand, we need people who are a lot selfless than me. You know, people to help and accommodate and do this and do that. But do I recommend it for everybody? Do I condone it for everybody? No, what I condone for everybody is just do what you want to do. That's my thing. Do whatever it is you want to do. I would never tell anybody to stop doing what they want to do. That's why, like all this Charlie Kirk stuff, racist, who cares? Well, why are you getting so upset? Charlie Kirk being a racist, Hulk Hogan being a racist, what he said. Who cares? I just don't get it. Now, of course, I might be an extreme to where I don't care even the president. Because I believe I'm protected by the Constitution and the overall legislation and the system of the way things work in this country to be protected. Now, there may or may not have been a time when that wasn't the case for me, being a black person in this country. I mean, it definitely was. It's on the books. They had laws that, basically said you could do this and do that to a black person. But every race has gone through that. Not just black people, just the black people did it on television. It was televised. So we got a very good record of it. We got that's what it is. We got a hellified record of what was going on. And then, black people living it now, they going through it. And they still living it, and they still feeling it. So they still, and of course, if you ask me, there's some manufactured victimization in there too. It's just, if you ask me, it's a race industry. There's people out there who make lots of money keeping that racism thing going. But I don't get it. I mean, they be like, racist this, racist that. He said this. So what? What that got to do with me? Oh, you don't know. He may stir up all the racist people when they start a revolution, and we be back picking cotton. Okay. I really don't believe that's possible. And not just because most of the white people I know love black people more than I do. I'm sure this racial tensions are higher and lower in different areas of the country. I can almost guarantee that. But I don't think, even if, in all the stuff they think Trump gonna do or accuse him of doing or being in this, are you serious? I don't get it. I mean, I don't want to sound condescending or belittle their philosophies or understandings, but I kind of mean it that way. Are you serious? You really think that's going to happen? I talked to some people who I think very sensible, and I'm probably saying that the wrong way, but hopefully you know what I mean. People who have good processing about other subjects and other understandings. And as soon as we start talking about race, I'm like, where did you get that? And I asked them, have you had that experience with white people? Has this been your experience? They'll say, no, but I read, and you see all this stuff in the news, you see all this, you see all that. I know a lot of that's manufactured. And I also say I know that 50 years ago, 60 years ago, a lot of that stuff was rampant, lynchings, and, Jim Crow and all that. That was almost like a half a century ago. Our ancestors gave blood and fought that fight and won that fight so that you can go on and stop fighting that fight. Go on, let it go, it's over. And I think now the onus and the responsibility is on black people. And it's easier just to cry victim and say why he did this, why he did that. That's why I can't make it. That's why I can't do this. That's why I gotta work twice as hard. That's why I gotta do this. And I can honestly say, I can very, very honestly say, I can't remember. Well, what I used to say was, I've never experienced racism in my life. But the least I can say is that I don't remember. I don't have a racist thing that pops out. I don't have a racist thing that pops out in my head when it comes to that. I don't have a racist story or a thing I remember that, you know, like, oh, this happened, like, oh, the Klan came to my house and, or, you know, I remember this white man spit on me or something. I don't have none of that. I can't think of nothing like that. All my encounters with the police, when I was surely wrong and surely deserved it, I was treated respectfully in the way I should. So I don't have that experience. That's not my experience in life. Like I said, I'm not saying racism don't exist. I'm just saying it may not be as overblown as some people are teaching it and the way they want to use it, especially the Democratic or the left, Democratic left. They want to, identity politics, they want to actually use that as their whole goddamn political campaigns based on such thing. But the pendulum is swinging back. The height of it was the George Floyd era. And during COVID, we all sitting at home watching this and watching that. And it all, you know, so. And I'll tell you something else. And I don't know about what Charlie Kirk said or this or that, but he said George Floyd was a scumbag. George Floyd was a scumbag. George Floyd was a scumbag. I mean, it's a story that's been, I don't know if it's true or not, but I think it's pretty much been vetted. He pointed a gun at a pregnant woman's belly. I mean, stuff like that. I mean, but here's the thing. George Floyd was a scumbag, but he still may or may not should have died the way he did. You can't, they're not mutually exclusive. He could be a scumbag and still didn't deserve to die that way. So it's kind of, you know, oh, don't say he called George Floyd a scumbag. He was. And, you know, and some of the stuff I actually heard Charlie Kirk say, I ain't gonna say I agree with, but I get where he's coming from. And I get what he could have been trying to say and what he kind of meant in a general sense. And I also know that it's all entertainment. And you're gonna say certain things a certain way to get that reaction, to get you talking about it. He didn't become prominent in this, you know, bigger figure or whatever he is on accident. There's a little bit of art and manipulation and sensationalization of himself, you know, to say things. And I believe Trump does the same thing. He'll just say, hey, watch this. Watch me make the Democrats jump now. And he'll say something and watch them jump and laugh and say, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna do this. Watch me make him mad or rile him up. And I wouldn't even be surprised if there was a lot of collusion between people you think are fighting anti-Trump people that you swear, hate Trump and kill Trump. I wouldn't be surprised if AOC called Trump every now and then and say, hey, why don't you do this for me? Set me up for this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this so you can say that, and we'll go back and forth that way. It wouldn't surprise me, Chuck Schumer, all the people who swear that they hate Trump and this and that, don't talk to them. Say, hey, buddy, what's up, man? What you doing? What we gonna do? What we gonna do to the people today? Huh? Hey, let's get them on the ice thing. Kids in cages, go with that. Okay. And then I'll counter with this. The only thing I know, the only thing I'm pretty 100% sure of is that I'm gonna be okay. And I think that's all that really counts. But what about blah, blah, blah? If they ain't on side, my circle or blood family, friends family, circle as my daughter call it. Because we had a discussion about family and the circle. You can have what I was saying, what I was trying to imply you do for family. She said she don't. She said she'll do it for her circle. I said, you just swapping it out so you can have control of who you ride or die with, quote unquote. Whew. I'm taking a break. I'm gonna stop for a little bit. Somebody walking ahead of me, I'm gonna let him get a little bit of distance. He walking kind of slow. Probably gonna catch up with him anyway, so. All right, I ain't gonna be able to post this anyway. I'm gonna have to splice it when I get home. So, I'll have to splice it when I get home. Because it stopped on me for whatever reason. And now it looks like, well, I guess it better not stop recording my voice, even though it's like it's locked. Probably because I was switching back and forth. But here we go again with this. How much time do I got on this? 44 minutes. Time shouldn't matter. Time shouldn't matter. See? Time shouldn't matter. Get home. It's to the point I get to my daughter's house now. Get home. I get a shower. Get breakfast. Sit on the porch. And I get home like enough time to do all that before she get there. And then still have like an hour before I got to punch in. Hell, yesterday I laid down and tried to take a nap. I mean, just, to take a breath. I think I was 195.2. If I could do 2.4, that'd take me down to 194.32. I might be down to 192 something. Shut up. If I could take out a 2.4, and I'm thinking I gotta A bowel movement is imminent. Probably should eat some more fruit. Or eat fruit, period. Indian grocery and sweet shop. This used to be Doc's radio and TV. I wonder if it went out of business or moved. Do you even eat radio and TV shops anymore? Well, nothing get fixed. People fix what? Stereos, TVs, big screens. What do you do? Just buy new? Throw it out and buy new? Computers? Look up. Make up. Don't run me over. Gotta make sure you don't run me over. It's your Jeep Wrangler. Nice looking Jeep though. I probably wouldn't have got green, but. Wow, he walked all the way down here to this. That's where he was walking to. That was a long walk to get to a bus stop. Unless he's just resting. I guess you walk this way, you ain't gotta walk up the hill. The other one might have been closer, but it was up the hill. That's the WRTA. Love the place. Love the place. Is there another one coming? Because didn't one just pass? They're supposed to come one every hour? What does that mean? Is that real? Here's where I took granddaughter when she had to get stitches. That's where I took her when she had to get stitches. The other day she fell off the swing at school. Got another mark on her face. Jeep Renegade. She tough like that for sure. She definitely tough. And as I was saying, we probably had something to do with it. I'm pretty sure I did. Just teaching her, teaching her how to try things, challenge her to do things. Jump off of that. Jump off of that. Yeah, she definitely got to start learning moderation. Because see, the thing is too, when she around other people, around the public, she know how to act. She changes, it changes. It may be shyness or familiarity, but when she get out in public, she act different. Now I hope like in school, she definitely, her behavior is different, I'm sure. I hope if she don't go through school that she get familiar and because You know, I should have never had my time in school, you know, being mischievous, this or that. Talking a lot and all that. In fact, they say granddaughter got time out like her first or second day. And she's always wanted to talk or play or, you know. She got put on time out. And she wanted to talk and, you know, just be the center. Blame her grandmother for that. Because we was taught children would be seen and not heard. My daughter was on the phone yesterday. Granddaughter was going, who is that? Who is that? Ooh. We done talked to my mother while she was on the phone. I don't know what age that started. But probably ain't too young. When I'm on the phone, you know, you don't be my daughter ain't that much of a disciplinarian. I'd be like, yeah, you'll go out and try to fight one of them hoes or Negroes out in the street, but you can't do nothing with your daughter. You scared of your daughter. I understand though. I understand. I do. And even though I put it that simple, I know it's you know, there's stuff to it. Sandwich Factory. I forgot what I got at the Sandwich Factory last time. I think I got sausage and peppers, but it was good. But I do remember that it was good. Might have to do that. It's something we're supposed to do Saturday. We'll see. And it's something we're supposed to do Saturday. Kimberly wants to do it. We want to do it, you know, but you know, so we got to do something. I guess I ain't seen my other grandsons or my son. So we got to try to get that work done. But it's Friday. And yes, I'm calculating the time to where I can be alone, be Saturday night. Probably about 32 hours, maybe 24. 32. Okay, if it's going on 1 o'clock now, 12, about 36 hours, roughly. Starting our 78th year. I don't think this sign, I think this is an old school sign, and it doesn't come up clear on video. I don't know, maybe it's not LED or whatever, I don't know. But it's like it shows up all broken up, whereas other signs, you know, show up clear. Let me see if I'm right or wrong. Can't tell, can't see. Got it. Well, it looks like it's doing okay. Yeah, looks like it's doing okay. all the trees, the green. Beautiful day today, beautiful, just beautiful. I probably could have wore shorts, but I like to be warm. Probably didn't need to wear long sleeves either, but I like to be warm. Just think if I can pull off a 2.4. I think it was 195.2. But if I can get down to 192 something, I mean, it's all, you know, pseudo to a point. But it indicates trend. It's better than being 207. I tell you that. Better being 205 at 192. Much better than being 199 or whatever. I was just sitting there thinking about catching the bus with granddaughter. See, the bus is free here, and it runs every hour or so. She ain't never been on the bus, so it'd be exciting. I mean, to us, it's like, well, catch a bus for what? But no, I could actually see how that'd be fun. And plus, let's be honest, I was looking forward to catching the bus, catching the city bus. That's why I walked downtown. I walked all the way from my daughter's house all the way downtown. And said, oh, I'll catch the bus back. Got down there and found out they run one every hour. I'm like, oh my God. So I just kept walking. Got back in time to on the bus. Caught it up the street. Got off a stop too early because I didn't know. Got off at Midlothian when I should have got off at Newport Glen. But you know, live and learn. Granddaughter would want to catch the bus. It'd be fun. Gas is at $2.89. This is the high. I think I paid $2.71, $2.73 down the street, more back into the, I don't want to say hood, but back to the lesser economically developed, let's call it that. Back into the, I'm doing all this talking, this thing might not be recording. Wouldn't that be something? All right. All right. Swinging on y'all. 2 times. For me, for the funk. For every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe, hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.